Hello guys, Chris here and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing the GeForce GTX 1080 in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I am playing the game with a Ryzen 7 3700X and 16 gigs of RAM. Latest drivers from NVIDIA are being utilized, of course, optimized for this game actually, 457.30, and this one is the Asus Strix version of the card. I just pushed the core clocks just a little bit, the core clock and the memory clock, and going over the settings, I'm gonna be playing this one at 1080p as well as 1440p. Using 100% resolution scale, of course, so it's native 1080p, and I'm gonna be using the high settings preset as well as the very high settings preset. If we don't get like 60 plus on average on high, which I think we will, I will be testing medium settings as well. But okay, let's just do this. Also, I'm gonna change a couple of settings here in the preset. I'm gonna lower the anti-aliasing to low since it doesn't really make too much of a difference to your image, and it will make your game run a little bit faster, as well as the motion blur here, because, well, I don't really like motion blur. And here we go, my friends. So we're why is it so small? I'm so sorry. That's what she said. Yes, guys, that's about the only joke I know. It's kind of sad. Anyways, we're gonna raid this little town for like the 30th time. Our FPS 1% lows are actually in the 50s, and we haven't really seen the FPS dropping from 60, aside from now. So, well, guys, it seems like it still does drop into the 50s with the GTX 1080. We saw it dropping into the 30s with the GTX 1660 Ti, so, well, this game is really demanding on the high settings. You know, if you want to play on medium, I won't judge you, okay? You have a 1080, but maybe medium settings is for you. I might actually test medium at the end of the video at both resolutions as well. I think at this point 1440p will probably get us averages below 60 FPS. Here in this town we can see that the FPS don't really drop from 60. You know, it's very good actually. It's very smooth and playable for a single player title, but over there is actually where your FPS are gonna drop the most. And if I ran the benchmark run, the built-in benchmark run in this game, we would get way better results because it doesn't show a scene as demanding as this one right here where it drops below 60. So that's why I don't really use the benchmark run, the built-in benchmark run at least, and I prefer to just run around, show you real-time gameplay and show you those sweet averages and 1% lows. 1% lows are not really that sweet, to be honest. Anyway, town areas are very demanding because there are a ton of details and lots of things, and out of towns right here, you can see that the FPS are way higher because, well, there are only trees and snow and leaves and bushes, and that's not as demanding here in Assassin's Creed Valhalla as a town. So outside of towns, you can expect around what, like 75 to 80 FPS most of the time. Sometimes it will actually reach like 90 if there aren't trees around you, for example in the mountain areas of this map. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Alright, here we go. We're now at 1440p with the high settings, as you can see, 2560 by 1440, 100% resolution scale, and the same high settings with low anti-aliasing and no motion blur. Let's see how it runs here at this resolution. This is actually the native resolution of my monitor, so everything looks very sharp and clear to me right now, as it should. That's what I don't really like about having a 1440p monitor. I don't get to play many games at 1440p because whenever I play games I'm benchmarking, and I usually benchmark lower end stuff. So it's always good to see like the GTX 1080, the 60. Come on, that went through his head. Oh my god. As I was saying, it's always good to test the GTX 1080, the 1660 Ti, and the 5700 XT because I finally get to play at my native resolution. Oh my gosh, big explosions, good stuff. Oh, come on, just roll in the ground, Does that work? I'm not even sure. So it seems like it's still performing really well. Sometimes it gets into the 60s, as you can see, so it's still a very nice experience, especially for a single player title. You don't really need 60 plus FPS all of the time, in my opinion at least. I think I would play like this, to be honest, guys, because it just looks so much better. So if you have a 1440p monitor like me and a GTX 1080, I think 1440p high settings with no anti-aliasing, or actually low anti-aliasing, looks really good, and it gives you extremely playable FPS. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and check this area out, which is extremely demanding, and it's dropping into the 40s. Yep, nothing we haven't seen already, so it's fine. It's great performance still. No, I wanted you to go there anyways. Where are you, boy? Oh, there he is. Alright, guys, look at those lens flares right there. The God rays, actually, not lens flares. Yeah, it looks really good, I think, the lighting in this game. It could look a little bit better, to be honest, for the performance you get, but I'm not complaining. 58 FPS average, 39 1% lows there, and yeah, an extremely pleasant result coming from the GTX 1080 in such a demanding game. And my friends, we are back here, 1080p resolution, 100% resolution scale at the very high settings. Let's just set this one to low and motion blur to off. Okay, 1% lows are already in the 40s because, well, there are some micro stutters. I can't really feel those, to be honest, so it's fine, you know, it's fine. It's not really stuttering. Sometimes the game feels a little bit stuttery whenever you are loading in new areas and stuff, but yeah, most of the time it's fine, it's okay. Alright, there we go, and we're getting 50s now. Yeah, that's not very good, guys. I think it's obviously running a little bit worse, but still, it's not that different from high settings, or maybe it is, and I'm comparing this in the back of my mind with 1440p at high settings, so don't really know, guys. You guys know it, you guys are watching the video, you know what kind of FPS we got at 1080p high, so just compare that if you want to. I don't know, I will choose to play on high settings because the experience is just that smoother, and the graphics look kind of the same. They're very similar, but why don't you go there? I don't understand this game sometimes. Anyways, the graphics are very similar to high settings. I can't really spot major differences if I'm just playing the game, like right now, instead of nitpicking everything, you know, or maybe I'm just blind and I'm not seeing any major difference, but at least in my opinion, he was just sliding there. Oh my god, okay. Out here we get 70s, not bad, 70s to 80s. Well, it's very nice actually, the experience, my friends. I'd have zero problems playing like this. Of course, if you have a 1080p monitor, maybe consider this, but if you have a 1440p monitor, I think it's not worth it. I think 1440p medium is actually a better experience for those of you that have 1440p monitors, and yeah, we're gonna check that out definitely after this one. So 66 FPS average there, 44 1% lows. It still drops into the 50s in this town, well, high 50s, but still 1440p with the very high settings. Okay, 1440, 100%, very high with the low anti-aliasing and no motion blur. So is it the same? I don't know. This is very similar to high though. Okay, no, don't sing, that might be copyrighted, I don't know. 58, 57, not bad. Alright, there we go. So low 40s now. It might actually drop into the 30s. 1% lows are in the 30s already. Right, let's just fight for a little bit once again. Here we go. Yeah, it definitely feels a little bit worse right now, but it's still very playable. So if you want this experience, this visual experience, instead of a performance-oriented one, I guess, it's still fine. And let's explode this thing now. It doesn't really drop too much. God damn it, why do I always do this? Just roll in the ground, buddy. Okay, there we go, there we go. So we're getting what, like 5 less FPS? 4 less FPS than 1080p, or 1440p, very high, sorry. What is this? I've never been here. Okay, well, this is interesting. I took a little bit of a different route this time around, it seems like. I want to go back into the forest to see the higher FPS. Okay, there we go. It's kind of the same still. So it doesn't really hit 60. Well, it will at times, but most of the times it will be between like 55 and 60. Okay, my friends, it's time for medium settings. 1080p, 100% medium settings preset with the anti-aliasing set to low and no motion blur. So this is it. Let's do this once again. I'm gonna start counting our frames. The 1% lows are always messed up in this game, guys. What the hell? At least at the beginning of the benchmark run for some reason. I don't know. But let's go. Let's do this. Alright, so low 60s there. Still low 60s at medium settings. Extremely demanding, this game. At least in this area, you know. But of course, I like to test worst case scenarios, so you guys know what to expect. There we go. Explosion. Very nice. So far, it hasn't dropped from 60, aside from the 1% lows. What? What a weird way to die. How did you die, buddy? That was interesting. Alright, so now I can definitely spot a few differences here coming from high to medium. Like the snow has less detail. God damn it, stop setting me on fire, guys. Yeah, everything is much less detailed, I would say. And the reflections, you can tell that the reflections, some of them are a lot worse, or they are not even there in some areas. So I don't know. You might want this experience because at least it's a 60 plus FPS experience and the game still looks decent. You know, it's not that it looks bad because you're playing on medium. It's just that it could look way better if you played on high instead of medium. And the FPS difference, well, it's there, you know, it's noticeable, but still. You should only lower your settings up to a certain point. Oh my god, I think I'm gonna die. No, I'm not. Okay, I still have healing. Alright, there we go, good stuff. One of the most intensive little spots in the benchmark run. And it isn't dropping from 60, so that is extremely good to know. 63 or 62 is the minimum so far that we've seen. Okay, so outside of town, again, the snow doesn't look as good as high, to be honest, but, well, we're getting up to 90 FPS, so... Alright, so that's been it for medium settings at 1080p. We got 79 FPS on average and 57 1% lows. And finally, we are at the medium settings with the 1440p resolution. I can tell that the textures in the both are worse than high and very high, definitely. I'm gonna show you the settings right now. I was just noticing that. 1440p, 100% with the same medium settings with the low anti-aliasing and no motion blur. If you really want, yeah, there we go, 51, 49. I was not expecting it to drop into the 40s. Okay, 48 there. Oh my gosh. Now keep in mind it's only in this area, but it still drops from 60 or 50 actually. Yeah, right now I can definitely tell that the textures are way lower quality. Yep, you can really tell the difference right now, guys. Explosion there, all good still. Alright, it's all good, it's all good. Other thing that I've noticed on medium settings, by the way, is the object view distance. Like, look at that little pot there. It's very noticeable when you come closer to it that it just changes right before your nose, and that's the case with basically every little object because, well, medium settings. So yeah, that's a little bit of a deal breaker as well for medium with the 1080. So let me see. Yeah, those shields, you can definitely tell they become more like hexagons. Well, that's something to keep in mind. It's a little bit of a trade-off if you want a 60 plus FPS experience at 1440p. Get over here, Roach! And outside of towns, it seems like we get around 70 FPS, which is extremely good. But again, I wouldn't do this. Look at the grass quality or the vegetation quality as well. It just pops sometimes into the screen. Nevertheless, the game is completely playable with whichever settings you choose. So if you want to buy this one, you can rest assured that the 1080 will do a good job. And that's been it. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one, hopefully very soon. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.